Hey everybody, welcome to In the Red Zone. Shaun and Mike here, and today we're going to give you our predictions for the SEC for 2019. A lot of shakeup, a lot of moving all around college football. No different from the SEC, and there might be a little bit more parity this year with the SEC, I think. So we're going to start with the SEC East. Let's talk about each team briefly. Then we'll give you our predictions, or we'll talk about each the East and the West, and then we'll tell you, where we think they finish out. So first of all, let's start with the SEC East. Basically, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, they all are kind of like in no man's land right now. Kentucky was coming off a great season, one of the best they've had in a long time. Not sure that they can really repeat that effort this year. So I think this might be – I think that I read where their coach Stoops has had a better season every single year he's been at Kentucky. That this might be the first season where things drop off a little bit. So South Carolina, Vanderbilt, they're all kind of like I think going to be towards the bottom. I just don't think, and then we're not sure about Tennessee. They've been kind of I've called them a dumpster fire for a while.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Pruitt. I think he starts to get them a little bit better. I mean, he's obviously seen how Alabama works. He's probably implemented some of those strategies there at Tennessee. So I don't know. I think they get a little bit better this year. Okay. South Carolina they've got North Carolina and Clemson in their non-conference, so that'll test them early in the year. Clemson will, I believe they'll win that game. So watch out for our predictions on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I fall kind of under that line of thinking with all of those teams basically.
So then let's get to Missouri, because Missouri has two interesting transfer quarterbacks coming in, Shaun Robinson and Kelly Bryant. Kelly Bryant immediately eligible, the former Clemson quarterback. Kind of interesting because when Heupel left Missouri, there wasn't really much of a drop-off on offense, which I thought there would be a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Drew Lock kind of does a lot for you.
Sure, yeah. So what do you think about Missouri this year?
I mean, they lose Drew Lock, and they get, a really good, experienced quarterback. He got to be with Clemson for a few seasons and watch them go to the playoffs every year. Yep. And he got to be a part of those teams. So he's seen what it takes to win. I don't know if that's enough. They always have a good defense. They'll likely have a good defensive line. But quarterback, I don't know that you see a whole lot of drop off there. I don't know if Shaun Robinson's gotten his eligibility approved for. I know he was trying to get it immediate. If you know, drop it in our comments and let us know. But they'll have a good competition there at quarterback. So don't know a ton about them, but just know as far as the SEC is concerned, they'll be a middle of the pack team.
Okay. And then of course, as far as the SEC East, I know we kind of quickly ran through those other teams, but really the SEC East comes down to Georgia and Florida. I mean, it really does. So, and you talk about Florida, this might be one of the better teams they've had in a long time, since maybe the Steve Spurrier days. And that's saying something, because, they won a national championship with Urban Meyer, but I mean, Florida's going to be really good this year.
Yeah. They've got one of the better wide receiver combos in the league. I mean, they've got some 5-star guys that I know Grimes last year, he had some plays. Even his misses were phenomenal looking. Yeah. So, Felipe Franks will, he'll be 1 year older, and
if anything, really, I think Florida's weakness is at quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I wonder. I haven't followed it close enough, but Emory Jones was a highly recruited quarterback who ended up at Florida after he had first committed to Ohio State, and I wonder where he's at in his development. So clearly Franks is the starter, but
he can be a good quarterback for them. I mean, he makes really big throws. He has to fine tune a couple things with his accuracy, but he's a good quarterback. I mean, he can throw the ball.
And then we have Georgia with clearly, they probably have the best offensive line in college football this year.
They do.
I mean, it really is. And that's where everything starts. Jake Fromm returning. I mean, he's been to the playoffs. Did they make it 2 years ago? Yeah, they did against Oklahoma. So they've been in the playoffs 2 years. He knows what it takes to win. I mean, they are going to have a completely different backfield. But I just think
they lost to Texas last year in the Sugar Bowl.
Sure.
But again, those bowls, you can say anything. I could tell you a million things why Georgia was trying and they lost to Texas, so it was a good win for Texas. And I could tell you a million things about Georgia not wanting to be at that game because they didn't make it into the playoffs, and so it really wasn't that great of a win for Texas. But so it goes either way. But to me, these kids are in college. They realize they don't have a lot of those kids don't have a lot more games to play in. So I don't really buy
that they're not
100% that they're not. You know, if it's a consolation game to them, maybe it seeps into their subconscious a little bit. But you know, Georgia will be good. They'll be very good this year. We'll have to see if they're good enough, you know, to push Alabama or beat Alabama, but we've seen that work before. I don't think two SEC teams get in again for a while.
I don't know.
Unless there's just nobody. I mean, but we know that there's a lot more parity in college football this year than there has been. I mean, it's Clemson and Alabama and then everybody else.
There's enough conferences that are down right now that I don't know. I still think it's possible because the SEC, if you look at how many teams they're probably going to have in the top 10, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Texas A&M. I mean, it's very, very, I think very likely that the SEC gets two teams in this year. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's talk about the SEC West for just a second. I mean, let's talk about Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I mean, obviously we don't expect those teams to contend for the SEC West. I kind of think they're doing some things good at Arkansas. Arkansas might be a little bit of a sleeper team that could not contend, but they might be able to knock off one or two big teams.
I've seen kind of a lot of rumblings around outside of Arkansas fans that are saying, you know, this could be a year they kind of sneak up there.
It is. I think Arkansas, you know, they have to play LSU and Alabama and Texas A&M. And I think they can maybe knock off one of those teams, like just one game. I mean, and then maybe turn around and lose to Ole Miss. I mean, it's just you don't know about Arkansas, but I do like what they're doing, the direction they're going.
One more year into Chad Morris's career there, and a lot of players like him. I mean, he's liked by a lot of his players, and comes from Clemson. In those kind of early developing Clemson years, just recently, but just because their fame is newly found. But yeah, they definitely always get linemen, they always get tight ends, so you know that they're not going to have any shortage of an offensive line, and so they wouldn't surprise me.
Auburn, I just think. I don't think that they're on the level of LSU, Alabama, and Texas A&M, but their coach is on the hot seat.
He's definitely on the hot seat.
He's probably gone after this year. If they're not contending for the SEC West, I think he's gone after this year.
Yeah.
And then you have Texas A&M, second year for Jimbo Fisher. He did wonders there his first year, and you know what? There is a little bit. There's a history of coaches at big schools in their second year winning national championships or making a run at national championships. I mean, and so I don't think you can count out Texas A&M.
We've seen a lot of that lately, though. Kirby Smart, Lincoln Riley. I mean, we've thought these things that, you know, second year coaches making it into the playoffs, and so we've seen it a lot less lately than we have seen it actually come to fruition. So,
but Urban Meyer in his second year at Ohio State won it.
I
mean.
I don't know.
History's on his side is all I'm saying.
A&M to me is a lot like Texas in the fact that they recruit really well every year, but it's just something, unless they have a generational type player at a skilled position like quarterback, running back, wide receiver, I just don't see them contending. I don't know. Unless they had just an entire team of really good, but that happens all the time. They recruit really well.
Yeah.
They're always, towards the top, 15, top 10 a lot of times. And they get, you look down the players' rankings on the recruiting services, and you'll see A&M's logo popped up there in the top 100 guys plenty of times.
Yep.
But those guys either don't shake out or they end up transferring somewhere.
Yep.
So,
well, they have a A-list coach right now, which they haven't really had in a while. So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, LSU. Joe Burrow, second year as a quarterback. In his first year, he broke a lot of LSU records or was second, and that's saying something with about LSU. They're changing their entire offense. They're going to be more of a spread, more of a air raid style, and they're getting away from that pro system under center. They have pieces to replace on defense, like Devin White, but
their defensive back unit is insane.
Insane, and this doesn't really. I don't think has an effect. I think it has an effect on recruiting. But if you haven't seen it, go watch the video of their new locker room. I mean, wow! I wish we could show it to you, but it's copyrighted video and it'd get our video flagged. But they're $28 million all from private donors, but it is something to see. It is impressive, and that's going to influence some recruits, I believe. But as far as this year goes, LSU, I think, to me, is a top 5 team, and I think this might be the year that they can outdo Alabama. I mean, it's possible. This might be the year they.
The word might though is like forever etched next to their name. So it's like,
and we'll see. They got to play the game, but SEC West is going to be extremely tough this year. But I think LSU, you can't count them out. I mean,
if they beat Texas, that will be a huge.
And I'll just say right now, I think they will. And I don't think it'll be close. But that's my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to see, because what week is that? Week 2?
Week 2, September 7th.
I want to see how both teams kind of have their first primer game before going into that. But I'm telling you, if Sam Ehlinger thinks he's going to go out there and throw the ball all over LSU, that's not
Texas
happening.
Will have to run the ball and run the ball well to win against LSU.
Grant Delpit and Derek Stingley Jr. they will be 2 of the best defensive backs in the country all year, unless there's an injury. Knock on wood. And then Joe Burrow, another year in the system. You said they're going to more of a spread offense.
Which I think is a benefit. And I think what that does, what I saw last year was with Burrow coming in, first half of the season, you could tell it's not like the coaches it didn't seem like they trusted him to make his own calls, make audibles, and he was kind of like doing what he's told to do. And then things kind of changed a little bit in the Auburn game. And then after that, towards the end of the season, it really became Joe's team, and they realized he can actually run. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't look fast on TV, but he is pretty quick. And I think going to this spread is really an opportunity for he's a pocket passer. But when it breaks down, that's going to give him more lanes and more options to run. And and Burrow, he's one of them guys. I hope he stays healthy all year, but he doesn't slide. He does not. He refuses to slide. He puts his shoulder down, and he will take on anybody. The kid has been rocked so many times, and he just keeps getting back up. He is a fighter. His dad has a longtime defensive coordinator at Ohio University. His dad quit this year just so he could be at every game and follow every game. And I've heard his dad make mention that he thinks LSU is a playoff team. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
They've got a crazy good defense, and they're watch for Jacob Phillips, who I'm still reeling over for for decommitting and flipping to LSU the week before National Signing Day. But no, he will be looked at as a leader this year in their linebacker core. And he's a good player to look to, because the guy just makes plays. So their defense, if they lose games this year, will not be because of their defense.
And now let's move to Alabama. There's not a lot to say about Alabama. Tua's coming back. He'll be he is right now is him and Trevor Lawrence. The odds in Vegas are even on them winning. They're the 2 front runners, and the odds are dead even on them winning the Heisman. Alabama and Clemson are the 2 odds-on favorites in Vegas to win the national championship. Clemson has a slight little bit of edge, although the money is going on Alabama right now. I know it's way early to be talking about that stuff, but Nick Saban, I mean, at the end of the day, when Nick Saban decides to retire and walks away from football, based on what he's accomplished and how many national championships he's won, it's hard to argue that he's the best college coach in the history of college football. I mean, he's that good. So Alabama, clearly the favorite to win the SEC West. And you know what? They should be until somebody beats them. So we'll just have to see what happens. So, all right, Shaun, SEC, East and West, give me your, let's take a look at
all
your,
right.
who you got.
I've got SEC East. I'll start with number 1. I've got Georgia. I've got Florida at number 2. I've got Tennessee at number 3. I've got South Carolina at number 4. I've got Missouri at number 5, only because of the quarterback situation there. Not quite sure what's going to happen. I mean, if Kelly Bryant is able to, play within the system, and the move could have adverse effects. But anyway, I've got Kentucky at number 6, and I've got Vanderbilt at number 7. So that is my East. Moving along to SEC West, I've got Alabama at number 1. I've got LSU at number 2. I've got Texas A&M at number 3. At number 4, I have Auburn. Number 5, I have Mississippi State. We'll see how long it takes for Nick Fitzgerald to come back from that broken leg. A lot of people think it'll be at least the half of the season. And then I've got Ole Miss at number 6, and I've got Arkansas at number 7. Those two could be flipped. Arkansas and Ole Miss, they kind of are right there on the same level for me.
All right, mine is definitely looking a little different, especially when you get past the top 2. So let's take a look at mine right now. In the SEC East, I have Georgia and Florida. I think Georgia is clearly, with their offensive line, I just think they edge out Florida in that one. I have Missouri at 3. I think that Kelly Bryant is going to bring a great. He's going to be great for them at quarterback, and I just think that Missouri's offense is going to be good enough. And then you have to look at the rest of the teams in the SEC West. They're all kind of down and rebuilding. So then I have at number 4, I have Kentucky. I have Tennessee coming in at 5, South Carolina at 6, and I have Vanderbilt at 7. Over in the SEC West, I have LSU at number 1. I believe that truly, if I'm being fair and unbiased, but at the same time, that is a little bit of a homer pick for me because I'm a big fan of Joe Burrow. But I think this is the year that if there's ever going to be a year LSU is going to knock off Alabama in the short-term future, it's this year. So I have LSU at 1, Alabama at 2, Texas A&M in there at 3. They had the 7 overtime game with LSU last year, which was remarkable. Auburn at 4, and I think this is last year for their coach. Arkansas at 5, Mississippi State at 6, Ole Miss at 7. So I don't think Arkansas is the worst team in the SEC. I think they're going to surprise people a little bit this year, and they give them a little bit of momentum going into 2020, and then hopefully they can turn things around, long term. So that's my pick for the SEC. So that's it. That's our picks for the SEC, and we hope you've enjoyed it. Please comment and give us your thoughts and feelings about your favorite team or what you think is going to happen. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That's how you can help us out. And we just are looking forward to the season. And
scream at us if you want. I'm sure you will.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter as well. So that's all we got for now. So enjoy your football season this year. See ya.